if you are ready to build a production-grade VR application and you want to put it in front of a paying market, then zSpace is really a terrific platform to target.
What is zSpace?
It's hardware, so the 1080p stereo display, the lightweight polarized eyewear, the Stylus with haptic feedback, and the tracking system. It's also the software API that reduces a lot of the complexity of building a VR application.
Yeah, I've heard that VR application developers have to use some advanced math to adjust the images delivered to each eye to give the impression to the user that they're seeing the scene from their exact viewpoint in real time.
Right, and it's that complexity that the API reduces. So a developer needs to position their camera inside of their scene as normal, and the API then tweaks that camera position in sync with the user's head movements to give you head-tracked stereo, so it's automatic.
So just by connecting with the API, I can convert any normal app into a stereo app to be used on zSpace with Stylus input?
It can be that automatic, but an application developer needs to account for head tracking in their app design.
How so?
Well, before head tracking, if you have a large-scale model and you want to make it look the same as a small-scale model, you just move the camera back and it looks the same. But with head tracking, a sideways camera movement doesn't have the same effect on perspective when the camera is further back from its viewing subject. So a developer may need to tweak a parameter called viewer scale.
Gotcha. So it sounds like you kind of almost have to design your scene to account for real-world dimensions.
Right, and in the Stylus samples, I use real-world dimensions, and that shows you how simple it can be. A free-moving input device is usually a new input paradigm for developers used to a 2D mouse.
Gotcha. And you're talking about the Stylus, which can move along X, Y, and Z for both translation and rotation, right? So that's 6 degrees of freedom.
Right, and it also has 3 buttons and haptic feedback.
Very cool. Is it complicated to add?
Not technically, it's more of a design challenge.
Okay. It sounds like it could be an incredible opportunity to be, among the first wave of people to really create and define this new input paradigm.
Right, it's a green field of VR and 3D applications, and the people that I work with, the people that I talk to, find it to be a very sort of creative challenge.
Is that it in terms of complexity?
I think one of the other things is that developers need to be aware now that these 2D UI components like buttons and sliders is now a flat thing in a 3D world. And you just need to make sure that they don't collide with the 3D shapes, otherwise it spoils the illusion. It's pretty basic stuff, but it may mean that some of your existing applications may need a bit of reworking.
Gotcha. And I assume these are challenges that you've had to face before.
Right, zSpace is a VR platform that is seeing use every day. Consumers, students, educators, they're getting some heavy-duty use out of zSpace, and we have some fantastic, breathtaking applications, and that maturity is, I think, one of the things that separates us from the competition.
Very cool. Well, thank you, Riaz.